Hey guys, Jaybo785 coming to you with the second part of my comedy stand-up video. Um, in this video I'm going to be talking about some of the jobs I used to work and I'm sure everybody's worked a job that they love to work at and they've worked a job that they hate to work at, but this is usually where you meet some of the most interesting people and then form some of the closest bonds and honestly have some of the best stories. So let's go ahead and move on and get started with this video. The first story I'm going to tell you about is a lady that we used to call Miss Piggy. I worked at my father's store, and one of my jobs was waiting on the customers, and I honestly couldn't ever tell you this gal's name. Really, she was just a massive human being, and I'm not talking just tall either. And she was so big that we had one of those big industrial doors that was about 5 feet wide, and the bitch had to turn sideways to get through it. And we called her Miss Piggy because she had an upturned nose. And she used to always wear this Nebraska Cornhuskers jacket, and if you took it off, you could make a fucking fireworks tin out of it. She was so goddamn big. But I really don't care that she was a large lady. It was the fact that she was a bitch and rude to everybody all the time. And that's where my main issue stood with this lady. And because of that, my dad would never wait on her. So one day she came up to her counter with her merchandise. I was getting ready to, check her out and process everything. And my father, when he saw the water on his corner of his desk start to ripple, fucking Jurassic Park style, when this lady was getting out of her car and pulling up, said, "Oh shit, I can't deal with this gal, you fucking deal with her." And he went and he hid behind the counter. So she brought up her movies, and I went to go grab him, out back so I could, ring her up. And as I'm writing down the receipt, I hear my dad in the back go, "Right." She just kind of looks up at me, and I look up at her, and I'm like, was that my fucking imagination, or did that really just happen? So I act like it didn't fucking happen. I just go back to starting to ring her up, and then I hear, and so then I knew it fucking happened. And so I just looked up at her, and I can feel myself just going red, like, oh shit, this bitch is gonna eat me. And she's looking down at me and glaring at me through her piggy eyes. And I just go, he has a cold. Just like that. So, in the best acting skills that my father could muster up, he starts going, "Eh, eh, eh." And I'm not even fucking caring if I do a good job or not now. I'm just scribbling shit down through the crap in the back. I'm like, "Thank you, have a good day, come back later." And I turn around the corner, just go rip his fucking ass. And he is just buckled over, holding his stomach, red in the face, just laughing his ass off. I'm like, "You son of a bitch! She's gonna kill me!" And so, that was my first real major story ever with Miss Piggy. And, she actually moved out of town, thank God. The cornfields finally started to grow back. So did the wheat ones. And, children could come out of their house without living in fear. And my sister was getting married. And so we were driving up, and my niece was there, and my dad was going to get her something to eat. Pulls in the Sonic, and lo and behold, there's fucking Miss Piggy. So we couldn't escape the bitch. But moving on, I used to work at this place that did embroidering, and they did a lot of sports merchandise sales and stuff like that. And my first day on the job, I was getting orientated like you usually do. And my job was this: I was the reject ninja, or the reject bitch, however you want to put it. And if an article of clothing got destroyed, and usually they were doing an entire team, so they couldn't just ship out all but one. My job was to go to the warehouse, grab the fucking thing, bring it back so that whoever was in embroidering, whoever was in screen print could finish up their job. And this warehouse was I think about half a mile long. So fucking massive. I actually calculated one day I was doing about 14 miles a day. So, not only was it that, but they had different level rafters. And these rafters would go up to about 20-25 feet in the air. Usually you were supposed to go get like a set of stairs and climb up, but it took too fucking long and you get in trouble for taking too long, so you usually just Spider-Man'd it. So my first day on the job, I actually caught somebody sleeping on the fucking job. And so the story kind of goes like this. I fucking go in, and there's something up on row G. Row G is at the very top. You can literally reach like your hand up and fucking touch the ceiling. And I'm terrified of heights. And also, if it's on row G, chances are it's not fucking in stock, which really makes you happy if you climb your happy ass all the way up there. And so, the rafters, they didn't have solid, shelves. It was like metal wiring mesh. And so, I'm looking up, and I can see where the cardboard boxes should be. It's all these different articles of clothing just strung together, so I can't see up through it, and the boxes are on top of it, so if that shit's a mess, chances are it's not even up there to begin with. So I'm like, well, shit, this is going to be fun. I'm like, first day on the job, I'm going to fall off these fucking rafters and get my ass fired, and not be able to get a job anywhere else for negligence. So I'm climbing up there, and I'm dangling off with one fucking arm, and I'm trying to scoot these boxes without breaking my goddamn neck, and I move one, and I see the back of this head. And I'm like, okay, it's just a mannequin head. That's where they store this shit. And then it turns around and looks at me. And that kind of weirded me out. And then it opens up its eyes. And that creeped me the fuck out even more. And then it started to talk to me. What do you want? I need that jacket that you're laying on. So the guy kind of reaches underneath himself and hands it to me. And he's like, don't tell anybody I'm up here. And then he moves the box back. So I crawl down somehow with this jacket and my little laser gun, which I have to scan the shit in with. And, I'm just shaking because it weirded me out so bad. So I find the guy that trained me, and I'm like, hey man, I need to talk to you. What's up? There's somebody sleeping up in row G. What? Where? Right there. Where? And I'm trying to keep my voice low because I don't want to be the rat that was just hired on. He's right up there. Have you told anybody else? No, man, you're the only person I told. Alright. Don't tell anybody else, because I'm going to take a nap up there after lunch. And that's how this fucking place was. There's always shit like that going on. Now, like every job that produces a product, there's going to be, slow seasons, fast seasons. I got hired around Christmas time. Everybody's buying up all this different types of sportwear. Nobody's buying up t-shirts, So it was just go, 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 go from the very start. And because of that, we'd have like leads or head managers or whatever the hell you want to call them. You all know what I'm talking about. And we had this one guy named Ricky. Now, Ricky, I'm sure, was a decent guy, except he had so much dumped in his lap and he took so much responsibility on himself that he was a no sense of humor type of motherfucker, Which most people would take that as, I really shouldn't mess with this guy. I took this as I'm going to fuck with him as much as I possibly can type of guy. And Ricky was Puerto Rican, and he was born in the States, so you wouldn't ever be able to really tell. And, pretty much one of these scenarios happened where Ricky said before anything goes out, which we produce thousands of items a day, and we have people that inspect it for quality control. The quality control people need to bring it to him. So rather than him doing his one goddamn job and supervising about 20 people, he's then doing 20 people's jobs, which you can see how this backfired on him. So he is overly stressed, and he's being a complete dickhead to everybody. And he finally takes a vacation down to Florida. And, I'm just the reject ninja, just doing my job, doing my 14 miles a day, pushing around. Oh, by the way, I had a fucking shopping cart that I pushed around everywhere. Where the hell is the fucking thing? My shopping cart, right there. So I'm pushing around this goddamn shopping cart everywhere. And people kept coming up to me. Hey, have you seen Ricky? Have you seen Ricky? I think he's on vacation. Well, where is he? Florida. Well, what's he doing down there? And after about answering this question seriously 20, 30 times, I just started going, well, he's picking up his family. He heard the tide come in and he's going to grab him. Just the most racist, obnoxious bullshit I could come up with. So, going back to fucking with Ricky. Like I said, every business has its slow seasons and its fast seasons. And we got to the point where we got really slow. And unfortunately, some of my best friends that worked there got let go or fired for really no goddamn good reason. And not to really give this place of business away, but if you check the local news, these people just got fined for over $100,000 for treating unfair working conditions, which sounds pretty legit. So, anyways, I wanted to keep my job, so I went up to managers and I'm like, hey, I know we're slow. If there's something that you want me to do, something you want me to cross-train in, come find me, I'll do it. So one day, Ricky comes up to me, which is probably a bad sign, and he's holding a broom. And he's like, Jason, hi Ricky, how's it going? And he just takes his broom and he shoves it into my chest. So I'm just kind of standing there with my hands to the side. And then he pushes it into me. And he's like, take it. So I'm kind of pissed off a little bit, because I thought that was pretty fucking rude. So I reach up and I take it. And then he puts his arm around me in a really creepy fashion, like he's my best buddy. He puts his hand on his shoulder. And then he points off into the distance. And he's turning me as he does this. And he's like, I want you to get every single corner in this building cleaned. This warehouse had seen rapid expansion over the last 10 years. It had never been cleaned before. This place had been around for at least 10 years. And so it looked like the fucking Addams family with cobwebs that were thrown up everywhere. And he's like, I want you to go and get every single cobweb and sweep every single place in this entire building. Which it was built like a fucking maze. So, it's time to fuck with Ricky. And I looked at him with a really frightened face. I'm like, I just can't do that, Ricky. Now, Ricky by this point in time and day had probably been told by about 50 different people, that's not my fucking job, I'm not doing it, Ricky. So this was not new to him. Why? Because I'll anger the spiders and they'll come after me, Ricky. Just step on them, Jason. Just step on them. I'm gonna need a pair of golf shoes, Ricky. And so he just kind of walks around and throws his hands up in the air, and by that time he knew I was fucking with him. So I'm going around, I'm cleaning, and people are demoralized at this place. People are pissed. Usually they just have that blank face, you know, as they're doing their mundane, repetitive fucking tests, and you can just see them grimacing. So I'd come up to them with my fucking broom, which now looked like I had a wad of goddamn candy from all the cobwebs that are around it, and I'd be like, hey, you got your lighter on you? I didn't think you smoked. I don't. And so they'd be kind of doing their job and reach in their pocket and hand me a lighter. So what do you want it for? I'm going to make my own tiki torch. And they just kind of look at me like, you're going to burn the entire fucking place down. And I'd kind of just walk off going, dum diddy bum bum diddy diddy bum bum dum diddy bum bum diddy diddy. Oh shit. And just to finish up at this fucking place, Ricky again, alright? This place was full of dust. It always threw up goddamn dust from all the machines and all the yarn. Plus, you know, the place hadn't been fucking clean for forever. I had to blow my nose a lot. And the Kleenex box, the only place it was on the goddamn head teller station, okay? Which, this is where all the managers are always around, so usually everybody tries to get as far as fucking away from there. So, I go to blow my nose and I knock the Kleenex box underneath the table. You don't be a douchebag, you do the right thing, you get underneath the fucking table, you grab the Kleenex box and you put it back on top. So, I crawl under the fucking table and as I turn around, Ricky's right there, and he's like, what the hell are you doing, Jason? Now, I can tell him the whole story that I just told you, but instead I went, Ricky, I'm trying to get a promotion, you mind? Move on! And that's how I continually fucked with this guy. So if you can get away with that at your job, go for it. Oh, there's my little T-Rex. Alright, last story at this place. I also used to work in the warehouse to go get the shit. And by this time, it's getting really fucking slow. And a lot of actual warehouse guys are just sitting around waiting for shipments to show up. And so, I got my little shopping cart. And usually I build up speed and then just go down the fucking hallways that way because it saved my legs. And I'm walking from the back of the fucking warehouse to the front of the fucking warehouse. The back of the fucking warehouse to the front of the warehouse. And I'm never getting to the embroidery room to drop off my shit. Because stuff in my little laser gun, which had Wi-Fi and would constantly be updated, just kept banging at me. And so the warehouse guys are just watching me like a goddamn ping pong ball going back and forth, back and forth. And by about the 7th time, I could not help myself. So I built up speed on the fucking shopping cart. I pressed on the outside right brake. I swung around that corner where those guys were waiting and had my little laser gun. And I start acting like I'm shooting them and go, drive-by, poo, 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 poo. Now, most people just kind of look at me like I'm fucking crazy, which would be the right response, or maybe even laugh. No, these guys got really into it. So they act like they're taking bullet shots, and one falls over and the other one falls over, and they're just fucking laying there. And then I turn back towards my right, and I'm laughing because I'm on the outer edge of the warehouse, and I'm going down. And there's the fucking warehouse manager. Now, they're firing people left and right, like I just said. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to lose my fucking job. So I, like, kind of try to whistle as I'm laughing. As I'm walking down the fucking warehouse. And it's like a goddamn car crash. You just can't help but stop and look. So I see the warehouse manager go back up to the 2 warehouse guys, and he's looking at them, and they're just laying there still. Like they're waiting for him to draw chalk outlines around them. Ride-by, huh? Yep. Uh-huh. Well, the shipment's finally here, so let's go ahead and get up and get to it. No! They're fucking just laying there, and they're finally starting to get kind of up, get going. So that's the story of the fucking warehouse. The last one is this. I used to work at a bank, and there's a lot of very interesting things about working at a bank. This is the main one I'm going to tell you. Most people that work at a bank are very obsessive compulsive, which to me, being raised the way I am, you do a good job, you be proud of your work, but you get the job done while having fun. Life is too short to be too fucking uptight all the goddamn time. If you're professional, you do your job right, why not have a little bit of fun while doing it? Unfortunately, the people I worked with did not feel the same way. And this is the example I'm going to give. We used to have a gal that would come through our drive-thru, and we had the closest lane and the furthest away lane with the 2. And she would always go the furthest away lane. That irked them. Don't know why, not really a big deal, but it really drove them crazy. This one I kind of understood. We had buzzers, which when they buzzed us, it sounded like a car alarm went off inside of our little workstations. Very annoying. And no matter what, even if she saw that we were going to wait on her, she would always buzz us. Now, I give them that one. That one was pretty fucking annoying. So, a little bit of background story. I had surgery on my back once, and I have a really nasty scar in the middle of my back right about there. Okay? So, she comes up. I can see her car, recognize her car. She's looking at me, and I'm walking towards the window to help her. She knows I'm going to come up and fucking help her. My boss is like, I can't say this bitch, you deal with her. So we make eye contact, she knows I'm going to help her, and she buzzes me anyways. So what I do is I just sweep my own legs out from underneath of me, and I fall flat on the ground. And my boss is looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And I just put my hand up to my mouth and go, shh, watch this. So I fuck up my hair to look like Albert Einstein, okay? Which I had a nice picture up for you guys, but unfortunately that's gone. And, you know, I fuck up my hair. I put one hand up on top of the counter, the other hand up on top of the counter. And then I kind of throw myself up on the counter. And I'm looking at her, and she's just got this face of fucking shock. And I grab the mic, and I got the most pissed off look on my face. And I drag the fucking mic towards me, and I turn on the speakerphone. I'm like, don't do that anymore! Do you have any idea how much that fucking hurts? When I started working here, they made us get chips put on us, so whenever somebody buzzes us, it shocks us. And she fucking bought this bullshit story, alright? And she's like, I'm sorry! And she starts freaking out. I go, how can I help you? So I fucking got her checked out, and she moved on. Now, the next week, she comes by, and she buzzes us again. And this time, she's brought friends because she wants to show off. I'm like, hi, how can I help you? And she's like, why didn't it shock you this time? And I go, that hurt me so much last time. I went home, and I dug out that chip. And I pulled up my shirt, what you gotta remember, guys, I'm working at a bank, so I'm wearing really nice clothes, okay? I pull up our shirt, and I show her that fucked up scar I got on my back, and then I turn back around and I go, yeah, I dug that out because it hurt so bad. You know, I couldn't take it anymore. And she fucking bought that story too. Because honestly, who would fuck with you and who would be able to make up that type of story? So let's go ahead and finish up this story, guys. Needless to say, eventually, I got tired of working at the bank and I decided to leave. And stick with me, guys, this video is almost done, okay? And so, as I'm unemployed and I'm trying to find another position, sitting on my ass, begin to gain a little bit more weight. So, I decided to go to the gym. And I'm working out with my friend BA. If you want to know more about my gym stories and know more about BA, please watch my first video. So, you know, I'm trying to be the good gym partner and be like, yeah, working out, woohoo, yeah, one more rep, do your best. And she's doing sit-ups. And BA is very blessed. And so she's doing sit-ups, and I'm like, yeah, 15, 16, come on, you're almost done. We're just going to 30, one more, come on, do it. And she sits up, and a little bit of background story on her, she suffers from SAD, seasonal affective, disorder. So when there's a lot of lack of sunshine, she gets really bitchy. And she just looks at me and she goes, and it caught me off guard. She goes, you try doing sit-ups with D-cups! And like I said, it caught me off guard really bad. Now, kind of from a small area, and at this gym, a lot of our co-employees are there working out, and they all just stare because she literally just went off on me when I was trying to do the right thing, and it really hurt my feelings, to tell you the truth. And so I was trying to think about how to respond to this. So I jumped back when she first did it, and so I kind of take a step forward and kind of gesture my hand out like I'm getting ready to shake her hand. I go, BA, if I had D cups, do you think I'd be working where I am? No. I'd be working my way through law school. And so I start shaking my right pec. And I go, I'd start with the right one. Then the left one. And then clockwise. Then counterclockwise. Then opposite direction. So I'm doing this funky ass dance where I'm acting like I'm shaking my boobs, you know? Because I act like I had D cups from like not fucking working out and getting man boobies like Chris Farley there. And I'm like, yeah, that's what brings them in. That's what keeps them coming back. That's how I worked my way through law school. Just fucking with her. And as bad of a mood as she was in, she couldn't help but laugh. And of course our co-workers got kind of a kick out of it too. So, you know, moving on, you know, if you've ever worked at a job for a long time, eventually the idea of becoming a manager comes up, or moving up in a position or getting promoted comes up. And I've really asked myself, could I be in that type of position? And the answer is no. And I pretty much went through it with this conversation in my head is, I have an employee come in, and they're hungover, and they're laying on their desk. You know, most bosses or whatever wouldn't deal with that at all. They'd just be like, you hungover, you're fired. And I'd go, are you drunk? Yeah, I've got a hangover. What was your poison of choice? Beer. You pussy. And that's when I realized I could never be somebody's boss, because that's pretty much how I'd treat it. You drank beer and you got drunk and now you have a hangover? You fucking pussy. So, you know, it got me thinking too about eventually getting far enough in my life where if I worked hard enough and if I gotten that good job, about retiring and planning for retirement, especially with the bad economy, and preparing and making sure that you're taken care of in your older age. And it got me thinking about, why do people get a gold watch when they retire? That makes no sense to me. You're retired, why would you need a watch at all? You've got no fucking place to be. And what I said is, they should really give you a handgun to shoot your fucking alarm clock. Because I can't help but wake up in the morning with that and just want to shoot that motherfucker. And that's what they should really give you. So, speaking of retirement and taking care of yourself and getting that good job, I went back to school. Yay! And I'm going into the health field. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to go to lectures. And we have to learn about new disorders and new diseases. And the disorder that we were learning about was an hour disorder, or excuse me, an hour presentation about the disorder cerebral palsy, which is a very, very unfortunate disorder. And what's even worse are these are people with normal cognitive abilities. They think just like you and me. Well, maybe not me because I'm fucked up. Maybe like you, more like you. But they're usually mistaken for being mentally incompetent. And that's kind of what this lady was talking about. Now, guys, I don't mind lectures. I don't mind being informed. What I don't like is being preached at. If I wanted to be preached at, I would go to church. I would not go to a seminar. And that's what this gal started to do. She started to go, you know, these people with CP, they're normal. They think normally. They're not retarded. And you shouldn't call them retarded. Because calling them retarded is bad. And calling them retarded is mean. So you shouldn't call them retarded. And guys, another thing was, she was just trying to fill up her fucking hour time slot. And she went on like this for 5 minutes. So don't call them retarded. Because retarded is really mean. And it's bad. And she just fucking goes on and on and on. So eventually I just stood up and she stopped and looked at me. And she's like, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, get off your soapbox, you fucking retard. And so that's why I got let go from the program. But anyways, guys, I know this video went on a little bit longer than I intended to. I'm gonna make at least another part. So if you enjoyed this video, please tune in for the third part. If you've enjoyed this video, if it's made you laugh, please subscribe, comment, like, and if you have any questions, concerns, post them down in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, and if you're a new player planning on joining Rage Bahamut or another player with an extra device, please use my referral code RUM26800. Thanks a lot, guys. This is Jaybo785 signing off.